It's time to light it up in Pacific City, Oregon with the best jet ski free riders in the world as we get set for the Blowsion Surf Slam. There's no venue like it on the planet as thousands have come to the Pacific Northwest for the annual Blowsion Surf Slam. It's a gathering of friends, insane skis, and a competition disguised as a festival. This year, the riders are better than ever, and the tricks, well, it's hard to imagine how quickly they have evolved. All of it in treacherous surf with no landing ever the same. All the major names are here: Anderson, Gomez, Taylor, Bright, Hochstrasser, and that's only to name a few. They all want one thing, the most coveted title in the sport, the Blowsion Surf Slam Championship. I'm Paul Higgins. Settle in for the fastest growing sport in the world and the one and only Blowsion Surf Slam. On the expansive beach in Pacific City, the stage was set for the Blowsion Surf Slam. The festivities would get started with the riders' meeting. Instructions were laid out, and the anticipation of the three-day competition was building as the riders looked over the heat sheets for their scheduled riding times. The sport of jet ski freeride combines all the elements of every great action sport. The main aspect that is significantly different is that the landing is always moving and never the same twice. The rider's athletic skill, balls-out mentality, and custom ski that can cost tens of thousands of dollars makes this sport in itself unique. The athletes are friends both in and out of the water and want nothing more than the advancement of the sport, even if that means being edged out in a heat. For defending champion Brandon Lawler, his success of back-to-back years on the podium would not be repeated this year. Brandon, in questionable pain during his run, became obvious when he completed his heat, as he could barely pull himself from the shallow shoreline.
It's hurting a lot. I've never been through anything like this. I've hurt shoulders, ribs, but never like my groin. But I'm stoked to be out here. I always have fun out here at Surf Slam. It's a great event. There's no other place I'd rather be. Just bummed that I got hurt early in the round, so hopefully I did enough to move on, but we'll see.
Brandon, a true champion, would not have the opportunity of making it to the podium. When it comes to breaking down a run from a judge's perspective, there's a lot to think about. It might seem simple when you learn that a rider is being judged on 50% surfing and 50% big air maneuvers. Pretty straightforward, right? Well, not really, especially now that the riders are pushing limits well beyond when the sport started. Head judge and president of the IFWA, Mark Masuda, provides us some great insight.
When we started out in the sport, backflips and barrel rolls were the pinnacle of guys' ability. Now you see guys sending crazy airs, just about everything you see in FM motocross, So you see, all kinds of things, and the nuances between those tricks and each competitor's level of skill is quite specific. So it is challenging to see. But we see in our judging a little difference in the amplitude, which is the height of the rider, and a little bit of that kind of athleticism or that gymnastic capability of the athlete performing the maneuvers. How clean is it? How beautiful is it? What's the extension? What's the variety of maneuvers that they do, hands off, feet off, etc. At IFWA, we have a pretty strict criteria. That's the 50% surf riding, 50% trick or aerial maneuvers. Obviously, tricks and airtime, really exciting to watch, great for the crowd to watch, easy for people to score. What we find in that is that there is a higher scoring usually in the aerial category than there is in the surf category. So a guy might score really, really well in aerial maneuvers, but really weakly in surf, and he may not advance to a rider who maybe isn't quite a talented aerial rider, but he equally does both categories.
Well, now that you're an expert on judging, we can kick it up a notch. Next up on the Blowsion Surf Slam, head-to-head competition. Stay with us. The Blowsion Surf Slam from Pacific City, Oregon is being brought to you by DASA, DASARacing.com, by Fiberlay, also by HydroTurf, and our friends at Tillamook Country Smoker.
You're watching the Blowsion Surf Slam! Woo!
The meat of the competition at the Blowsion Surf Slam comes in the quarter and semifinals. Leading up to that point, it's nonstop action of elimination rounds. Have one bad heat and a rider's competition run could be over. This world-class event, hosting the most talented riders in the sport of jet ski freeride, is the work of one man. John Dady is the man behind the Blowsion Surf Slam. What started as a weekend of fun between friends has turned into a bona fide world-class event. As the event has grown over the years, so has the advancement of the tricks. John explains.
Out here, the waves can make a big difference, but the equipment obviously is advancing and evolving, and that is really kind of allowing some of these things that we're seeing the guys do. What I've really noticed in the last year or two is the amateur level, and we've now included a rookie class this year. Those guys are riding at a level now, it's kind of scary as they get better. And they're younger, which is, in my opinion, what we really want to see, because it's a very, obviously, great environment and fun place to be. I don't know, we never thought we'd see these crazy double backflips on motorcycles. Well, out here it doesn't hurt as bad when you crash, so guys are willing to try just about anything for the right wave, and that's the combination, is the waves and the equipment, and a little bit of nutso in the head.
Sure, you might have some loose nuts rattling around, or for that one, some big, you know what I mean. With the advanced riding though, and the tricks progressing so fast, the sport is growing. It's gaining ground just like many grassroots events, but it still has its growing pains.
If I could predict that, I think we'd be in a much more comfortable shape financially, because it takes a lot to put this event on, and that is going to be one of the challenges, is location. A lot of beaches aren't open to the public like this one is, where we can all be there. There are specific areas where you can have these events, but globally it's a little more open than actually the West Coast. Unfortunately, California doesn't have a lot of areas that you can have an event of this size. So we're kind of blessed up here in Oregon that the locals enjoy it. I think the biggest draw of this event is the fact that these riders, while they're competing against each other, similar to surfing, there's also like a shared wow, we survived that. These are very aggressive waves, and they'll hang together, and it's not uncommon to see a guy borrowing parts from a guy that just beat him, and vice versa. And I don't ever want to see that go away, because I think that's key. It's almost all of us companies that are supporting this event. We compete on product level. There's no reason why we can't work together, because obviously we need a customer base, and that good vibe rubs off. You don't want that clash of egos. That's really difficult. Racing and all that, they're very competitive. These guys are competitive, but they work together.
And the riders' respect for each other starts early, and for that matter, the athletes that are getting involved in the sport are getting younger and younger. So what is the key to getting started?
I think the stepping stone is obviously get out on the water on the lake. Sit-downs are notoriously easy to ride. A sit-down wave runner, anybody can ride them. Hence, they get boring really quick. The learning curve is gone after about 20 minutes, and all you want to do is go fast, and then usually you run into your buddy and hurt yourself, unfortunately. The stand-up, it's never ending. I'm 46. I can still get thrown for a loop every time I go ride. That's fun. And so if you can get the kids on them, age ranges are kind of difficult because certain states have regulations on what your age, but if you can get them on the water on a stand-up, even if they're knee riding, once they're up, it's all over. It's so addicting, because we have kids that are wanting to compete that are 13 out here. And the Oregon coast is a vicious monster. At 13 years of age, those are big waves. And these guys got it, man. They can ride this kind of surf. So that's exciting, and I think that's the key, is getting them on early, but on flat water. Don't go to the surf first time.
One of the things young riders have to look forward to is becoming a pro in the sport. Two of the best are Mark Gomez and SoCal buddy Zach Bright. Unfortunately, they were pitted against each other in the quarters. This one was way too close. Both these riders rode extremely well. Again, too close to call if you're an amateur judge. And thank goodness there were pros making the final decision. That decision took extra time. For both Mark and Zach, they understood and appreciated the process.
I mean, it is what it is. I just rode the heat with one of my best buds in the industry, and they should be working hard. We went out there, we did the best we could.
Worked hard.
It was rough. So let them choose. That's worth it. That's worth working for.
Yeah. And I went out and did everything I feel the conditions allowed. So I mean, can't really be much happier than that. It's obviously, I'm sure both of us wanted to get a couple more big tricks off, but it's given the conditions. So I'm stoked with how I did, and hopefully it was enough.
There were some anxious moments, but Zach soon found out he was moving on as his wife congratulated him. Mark Gomez, as classy as ever, would congratulate his friend, and for Zach, he was thrilled.
I'm so stoked right now.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's been a long time coming, you know. Mark really is my biggest competition. We know each other's ins and outs, and I mean, it's like he taught me how to barrel roll. I helped him dial on his backflip. We have a lot of history, so, you know, it's just good to know, like, even though I missed the tour this year, I'm still a heavy contender.
And there's no questioning that Zach is a heavy contender. He still has something to prove at the Blowsion Surf Slam. To qualify as a professional, you have to be paid. To be paid, sponsors have to support the sport, and that is the case with Tillamook Country Smoker, who offers up some of the best jerky in the world. For this audience, it's a perfect fit, built on a personal relationship.
Well, it actually goes a little bit deeper. I mean, Johnny Dady from Blowsion has been my buddy for probably 15 years. He painted my helmet when I was racing cars, and just that natural tie-in brought me into this event right here. Just our friendship. But all of the guys here, all of the people that are involved in this sport like beef jerky. It was just perfect tie-in for us, very natural. It was very easy to get involved here. Like I was talking about the vehicles that these guys have to drive to pull their vehicles on you. Those are the people that we sell jerky to. These guys drive their trucks into a 7-Eleven, they drive it into a convenience store, grab a couple sticks of pepperoni, a Monster energy drink, and they're out the door. So it's a perfect fit for us. We're at 4th generation of family that are running the company. We're all very, very proud to be where we are right now with the product we have. It is the best beef jerky on earth, as far as I'm concerned.
Now that you're hungry for some jerky, we'll give you a quick break. Up next, more of the Blowsion Surf Slam as we get into the semifinals and go under the hood with Zach Bright. Stay with us. We welcome you back to the Blowsion Surf Slam in Pacific City, Oregon.
Hi, I'm Megan.
I'm Tabitha.
I'm Andrea.
I'm Serena.
And you're watching the Blowsion Surf Slam.
A spot on the podium is the goal in a great semifinals matchup as Brock Taylor took on local favorite Darren Anderson. In good conditions, Darren gets the heat started with a huge one-footed backflip, and then he segues that into a nice re-entry.
Oh man, that surf out there is so awesome. It's so fun. This is some of the best we get here, and those waves have so much power behind them. They really let you launch if you hit them at the right time. It's fun just floating it out there, and those re-entries, one of my favorite probably tricks there is. It's good.
Brock Taylor had his work cut out for him, and for Brock, he makes his tricks look so easy. Very smooth in the Oregon surf, and that is saying something, especially in a moving target for landing. How about this incredible 360 no-footer 20-plus feet off the lip? And style point to this inverted Superman to a backflip. That was insane.
Oh yeah!
In the second semifinal, California-bred surfer Zach Bright faced Brazilian Bruno Jacob. Both very talented riders with significant differences in style and approach. Bruno laid down a variety of aerials that got him some early points, but the judges might have been looking for more height in his jumps. You have to love Zach Bright's surfing ability, but he can also go big, as he does in the middle of his run. Such great style and amplitude to his jumps. Zach Bright unleashed every trick in the semi, and that's why he would move on.
That was the most tiring run yet. Had to dig deep for that one. The inside's lipping really well. You can really get in the pocket and keep it critical, so makes for a fun surf wave. Jumping, not so much.
It was good enough for Zach Bright to advance to the Blowsion Surf Slam Pro Final.
What's going on? Zach Bright here. I'm gonna show you what goes on under the hood. First thing you're gonna notice here, usually these engines come with a cast cylinder. We've got full billet DASA cylinders. Dan Lamy, he's been in the industry for a really long time. Kyle Kennedy of DASA have put together a really good package here. We've borrowed technology from snowmobiles, the power valve system. And what this is going to do is it allows us to change the height of the intake port without sacrificing the exhaust port being at a wrong position. When the exhaust gas pressurizes this area, it's lifting the top of the exhaust port, and that really lets these skis really wind out and get on the pipe. That's what's helping us tremendously in the waves, especially on re-entries, things that you don't have a big takeoff for. It really lets the ski come into power. Instead of really winding it out with a stock motor, it's just pretty much right at the end. You pull the throttle full throttle and she's gonna keep pulling for days. So that's one of the big things we've got going on. This engine, what I run personally, is a 1000 cc. Stock is a 700 cc, and this thing's got a 10 mil stroker ADR crankshaft. So it's definitely a built powerful engine. I'm running a Cold Fusion billet E-Box. You can see it's got a Lexan front cover, and what that lets me do is, if anything gets weird with the way this thing runs, instead of sacrificing the seal here to see if maybe any water got inside, we just got a Lexan face, so all you got to do is take a glance and you can see that all your wires are hooked up correctly. There's no moisture inside there, so you can rule out, you know, maybe a 2-hour job straight off. So that pretty much wraps it up here with this segment of Under the Hood. Catch me in the water.
We certainly look forward to seeing Zach in the water for the pro final. First up, the amateur final. James Juve took on Jordan Fielder. Jordan demonstrated quickly that his amateur rank is not indicative of his ability. He'll be in the pro category soon enough. Zach Bright, looking on, agrees. Fielder took it to the surf to gain crucial points. And just in case, the water rescue team was on hand. James Juve drove 3,000 plus miles from New York to compete, and boy, did he do just that. This surfing is fantastic as Juve cuts through the waves. Fans on the beach look on as James Juve puts on the finishing touches to his run. Jordan Fielder does the same with a huge Rolo. Afterwards, the riders congratulate each other. On this day, in a close one, it would be Zach Fielder winning the Blowsion Surf Slam Amateur Final. One man that would not be on the podium in the pro category is Mark Gomez. As we showed you earlier, Mark went up against Zach Bright. This could have been the pro final, but the cards were dealt and they faced each other in the quarters. It was almost too close to call. Zach Bright, though, would advance. And for Mark Gomez, he would win the world title on points as he had a banner year.
Yeah, you know, it's that's been the mission. It was, you know, whatever it takes. I kind of told myself in the beginning, I wanted to get out there and make it happen. And you know, you got to set big expectations for yourself to pull ahead and succeed. And you know, it came up a bit short, you know, a little bit sooner than I wanted to go all the way. And it was tough. I had rough conditions, whatnot. But I did. I won the world title. So it's awesome. It's just, you know, I'm here in this moment right now. I'm present. And presently my friends are out there still ripping, and waves look a million times better. And, you know, coulda, shoulda, wouldas, man. I'm human. Mission accomplished on the world title. But I'm thrilled to see my buddy Zach out there just killing it right now in this heat. And, you know, having a good time here at the Surf Slam. I want to win this freaking contest. That's what it comes down to. I want to win here. So, see you next year.
There's still a lot to be decided. When we come back, it's the pro final. Can Zach Bright finally win a Blowsion Surf Slam? Find out next. The Blowsion Surf Slam from Pacific City, Oregon is being brought to you by Pape Rents, by Truck Boss, and by our friends at Tillamook Country Smoker. Hi everybody, welcome back to Pacific City, Oregon for the Blowsion Surf Slam as we get set for the pro final. The two best riders on this day reached the pro final as Brock Taylor faced Zach Bright. It was fun and games just minutes before they hit the surf as the cameras were ready to roll and the judges in place for this 10-minute final. The two wished each other good luck. Red turns to green and it was game on in the Blowsion Surf Slam pro final. Zach Bright, in front of a packed beach, took it low for some surfing points. Brock also surfing with great style. 50% surfing, 50% aerials is what makes up the score. The crowd looked on, and Zach going low squeezed in a little too bright, and then into a backflip. And the crowd was happy. They're not a judge. Brock throws down a one-footed backflip. He pairs that with a fluid re-entry.
It's hard. 10 minutes is a long time, especially when you're trying to throw down everything. So, no, the conditions are good. Like, it was big out the back, so it's getting really messy now and a bit hard, but it's awesome.
The very likable Brock Taylor had a good heat. Would it be enough as Zach Bright combined big trick after big trick? He has a knack for knowing what to do when during his run. For sure, he needed to be on his game if he was going to win his first ever Blowsion Surf Slam Pro title.
I try and really send the re-entries, man. They're a really risky move, especially in the back set. You get a little weird pop off the top, and it could end your run. I mean, you crash on big waves on a re-entry like that, your ski's done. I mean, it's over. So risk makes reward, though, right?
Zach was hoping that would be the case as he laid down one final re-entry. The two congratulated each other, and on the beach, they once again showed appreciation for each other's talents. The camaraderie of this sport is what makes it so special.
That's what I gotta do, bro.
It was time for the pro results, and in third place, it would be Bruno Jacob as he came to the podium. And then the champion would be announced.
In second place, ladies and gentlemen, out of Australia, it was Brock Taylor. He comes from just down the coast in California. How about it for Zach?
I've been trying to stand here for so long, like at least 5 years, 6 years, and I've always been standing right there. And I finally did it. Like, finally did it. So yeah, it blows my mind.
Congratulations once again goes out to Zach Bright. And also congratulations goes out to Mark Gomez as he officially was crowned the IFWA World Champion. The weekend of riding culminated with the K&S Big Air Showdown. Riders were dropping out of the sky trying to throw down their biggest trick. All eyes were on Tanner Thomas as he attempted the double backflip. John Tetenis here with a huge backflip throwing off the leg and the arm. In second place, it would be Mark Gomez, a pretty backflip there. And in first place, the K&S Big Air Showdown champion, Thomas Scacinoci, with a lofty backflip. It was a memorable weekend of free riding in Pacific City, Oregon at the Blowsion Surf Slam. Record-breaking crowds for a sport that continues to grow. Once again, congratulations to all of our champions as we are already anticipating next year. For the Blowsion Surf Slam, I'm Paul Higgins. Thanks for watching.